Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs Show. I'm Andy. I'm sadly the host. Let's talk a little bit about Chelsea. We're talking a little bit about the last game of the season, really. So we'll talk about that as well. And I think, look, anytime you lose a game of football, it's always doom and gloom, isn't it? It's always the world's going to end. It's the worst day of your life, all that stuff, right? And look, losing a London derby's never easy. It's never fun. No one enjoys it. No one sits there and goes, "I'll get a kick out of this." And if you do, Jesus, that's weird. But what really, we should be looking at is, okay, it's been and gone now. We've got one more game left of the season. We've got Everton at home. West Ham obviously they've got to beat our result. Okay, they need to win and hope that we don't pick up a singular point. Now, it's something that I've been running with for a little while. Is I obviously could be proved wrong on this, but I said I don't see Spurs going down because I don't think West Ham will do enough. And obviously, right this second, I'm being proved right. Now, obviously, that can change, as we all know. Now, they played Leeds last game of the season. Leeds are in some decent form, obviously. They played us recently. Good result against Brighton at the weekend. And Leeds had nothing to play for last weekend. I know, but it was a good result. Now, I look at Everton, and I think a lot of people have completely forgotten the history of this fixture. Now, if I go back to the 16th of April, 2021, okay, so 16th of April, 2021, we are basically now just over 5 years on from that game, right? In that time, Everton have won one game, which was actually just over a year ago, and they won 3-2. In that time, since the 16th of April, it's gone draw, loss, draw, loss, the win, and then a loss. So Spurs, in history terms, notoriously pick up a lot of points versus Everton, okay? And that's why I've sort of said, well, I can only go off all the evidence I have, and especially over the course of a 5-year window where Everton have won one game against us. I think we can get a point. You know what I mean? I think we can get a point. And then that you require West Ham to beat Leeds by something like 12 goals or something, which, again, it's not going to happen. West Ham don't even score enough to score 2 goals half the time, let alone 12. So that's why I think Spurs will be safe. I've always been consistent with that. I think they'll be safe, just purely on the fact that West Ham won't do enough. Spurs will do just about enough. And look, Spurs have been good over the last few weeks. I think a lot of people go, the attack's really rubbish. And it's like, well, how many attackers are Spurs missing? Let's put that into context. Let's add that information in. Let's add that to your argument, sort of counteract your argument, obviously, of people with the misery side of things. Yes, the attack isn't great. I get that. But when you actually look at it, since De Zerbi's come in, we've actually been quite a competent side. Now, I'm not saying we've been a great side because, we're missing so many injuries, it is what it is. But, looking at that game yesterday, it is something that it's perplexed me, okay? It took 70 minutes to get going yesterday. That's not good enough. After all that rest, rest versus rust, that sort of debate really shows its face. But you've got Chelsea who have played a game at the weekend. Spurs haven't played. We looked leggy, which is really, really weird. We shouldn't look leggy, right? You've got Liam Delap, who's just assaulting Jed Spence, like running at him, looking at him and elbowing him in the face. Not a red card. Not even a VAR chat, by the way. That's mental to me. That is absolutely mental. Look, I get it. We're not very well in favour of the referees. We're not in the favour of VAR. I get it. They don't like us. And there's probably a point where they actually do want Spurs to go down. Maybe it's a knock-on effect from Daniel Levy's time where he used to annoy everyone. I don't know. But then you've got the penalty shouts and they go, the ball's not in play. Are you sure about that? Like, I can't lie. The ball looked like it had been kicked. It looked like it was in play. And Van der Ven still looks like he's on his feet. So, again, VAR go, no, it's fine. No, it's fine. Brian, this is under, just De Zerbi, Brian Bobby. How's he not been sent off against Sunderland? It all just doesn't seem to add up. I mean, the Leeds one's a penalty. Again, that's another one. And you look at it, if Brian Bobby gets sent off, maybe you get a point there, and we're sitting here going, we survived. And that's just one game, by the way. I'm not sitting there going, you score the penalty against Leeds. Just the Brian Bobby, you're down to 10, they're down to 10 men for, however long. You get a goal, well, there you go, job done. You've survived. So the game is all about fine margins, and what doesn't help is inconsistent refereeing. I'm not sitting there saying Spurs get no result, get no decisions given for them. That's not the case. What I've always, championed is consistent refereeing. If, for example, Maddison's one against Leeds isn't a penalty, then the ones where similar to that can't be given. That's and if it is given, then yes, similar ones should be given. But it seems like there's one, one rule suits you, that rule suits you, and this rule suits you, and that rule suits you, and and you're so and so, and you get all the decisions in the world. You know what I mean? So it's just a bit frustrating that we go into the games and it seems to be that we're going to be fighting against a referee, a linesman or two, and VAR, where actual fact, I think every fan wants VAR to be gone and just not get rid of it. Just get rid of it, because it doesn't actually suit us. It doesn't help us. We don't get decisions from VAR. We get a lot of decisions against us from VAR. So for us, it'd be great. Get rid of it. Brilliant. Happy days. We'll actually probably be about 10 to 12 points better off just naturally from VAR going away. And then obviously referees just doing their job a bit better would give us more points as well. That would be. And obviously not having Thomas Frank, the moron. So there you go. But look, that's enough of that. I've obviously got to do some work today. So let me know your thoughts down below on the Chelsea game. Your thoughts ahead of the West Ham Spurs scenario this weekend. Let me know, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Take care. Peace.